going on?
Hey guys, how
What's
are
going
you?
on, everybody?
Welcome to our
It's a I.
podcast.
What's
With
going on?
nothing much. You know what I noticed? That we have not been saying what we admire about each other for the past few months.
For real?
Yeah. I went back and looked at a video or something that we recently done and we didn't say it. And so I was going to bring that up on this one. So we can, I just noticed that we hadn't said it.
I thought we did last time.
Because we were eating. That's That's
Yeah.
why. That's what made
We
me
was
look at
eating.
it. Yeah, we were eating at
Okay.
that point.
How did
So
you like it?
I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I liked it.
I read in the comments too. Somebody was like saying some good positive things, and I was like, oh. So I think we're building up our audience, and so that's dope.
Very dope.
Yeah. So I just want to start off with just saying what some things that I admire about you, which is I thought about this the other day, and I thought about it when I watched our last podcast that and I probably said this before of how supportive you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that I thought about that when I told you I lost 6.5 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and you was like, hey, good job on, you're losing weight, this, whatever, keep it up. And it's just a motivation that I don't think some parents may say to their kids, or they probably not because they don't have the type of relationship. So that's why I say communication is a great key thing, to have with your kids. So it's always that great feeling because it's kind of remind me of when you were little, and you would say things and do things at school and be like, who's your hero? And you're like, my dad's my hero. Those little things like that you always like, hey, you better enjoy that while it lasts because, when they get older, they're not going to say this and they're not going to say that. So I think all kids have a awkwardness or a time and a point in their lives that they don't want to be open with their parents and they always involved in their stuff, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
You had your times that you didn't want to talk. Well, of course, I forced you because I just feel like that's one of the things that was missing with the way I was brought up.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want that to happen. So I really do admire about you still being supportive of what I have going on and vice versa. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome. I was actually thinking about this. I guess a lot of my questions come from today.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from what I admire about you is, I guess I want to say like how you was focused, how you been focused on. I don't remember everything, cause it was always like okay, I see what you're doing, let me go do this, and then it was just like rolled over. I guess it's just been a continuous thing for me of like, okay, somebody needs a space, I'm gonna go back to my space. So I guess it's just I admire your level of focus. I just admire your level of focus on things. I don't know. I guess it's not like I'm losing focus, but it's like I'm getting comfortable.
Yeah. And you talked about that, but I'm going to say this, when it's good that you notice when you slipping so you can get back on track. And part of that is remembering when you first started doing it.
I don't think it's about that though. That's the crazy part. I've been trying to search for that answer.
Well, tell me what you're not doing that you done when you very first started doing something. What do you think? Where did you focus? I mean, what you're lacking?
I guess now I feel more robotic than anything.
So you feeling like you a repetition of stuff.
It's more so like it's almost getting to the point where it's like I know what's to be expected. Like when I come home, I got this. Get on the road. Then it's this. So it's something like it's becoming boring.
You back to boring.
It's becoming boring.
So what is boring?
Well, what I mean by it's becoming boring, like I don't want to be present socially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care to be engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do want to make videos, and then I want to disappear. But I do want to post, then I just go disappear.
So do you like your time when you're gone versus coming home?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I think it's getting to a point where it's like, I know the final steps that I'm taking is going to remove me from being on the road. And then all the other things that's going to happen after that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, now everything just seems so robotic. And it's like, I know what 1, 2, 3, 4 is, then 4, 5, 6, 7.
You know the steps that is finna come.
Yeah.
It's like kind of the future. You already seen it because you're doing the steps that you need to do to get where you're going.
And it's
and
boring.
that process to you is boring because for you feel like you know it versus the unknown.
Right.
But listen and remember this though, even though that up to this point things has been working out, and you know that hey, this is the goal, then that means you need to increase your goal on your end game. Because if it's boring to you, then it's too easy because you're doing it like you'll go to school. You know how you go to school and you're going exactly like. Okay. So you're going to school and you know I got first period this, second period that yeah, oh God. So you feeling like I did when I was in my senior year. You know, I talked about this before, and I was so ready to graduate because number one, I was like, my next step I already know. You know what I'm saying? Is I just want to focus on making money because I knew that I was not going to be going right after high school. I wasn't going to go to school that fall. I had a whole nother year or 9 months or whatever, you know, before I go to school. So my whole thing was getting out of school and working. Because I didn't want to be in college versus, you know, with living the way I was living and not having the same things that everybody had. So the things that I knew that I had to do in order to get there, I learned it from Liz.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I have nothing. So it's kind of like when you're trying to get ready to go get for your new place. You don't know where it's going to be, but you know all the things that you need in order to fill this apartment or condo or house or whatever you're going to look for.
Yeah.
So I'm focused on that end. So once you get to the point where you know where you at, and then you're like, okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know where you're going, you know what you got to do to get there, but now it's so repetition that it then became boring and not excited.
Yeah.
So now you're like, what can I do next to think of it? And it's this, and I'm going to tell you how you told me. Remember when I got done with my, what was I doing? Oh, before I got into my econ.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, when I graduated.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know what to do. And you was like, huh? I was like, I've never not had anything to do for a long time because I was in school just as long as you was in school.
Okay.
You know, so I had always had multiple things lined up to keep me busy. Even though I complain about being tired, complaining about not having so much time. But when I graduated in 2014, when you graduated, I was like, I need to find something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you was like, "What? You all this time you've been in school?" I was like, "I know, but I said I guess now I understand why people say how it's hard to adjust when they are when their kids leave, they're empty nest,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know what to do because they've been a parent so long and had other people depend on them and need them. So it was more of finding out who I was and what I like and what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just said, well, just chill. And I was like, I don't know how. I don't know how to do that. And Joe helped me kind of with all of that. Dating him and stuff like that helped me just do nothing and not feel guilty about relaxing.
Yeah.
You know, I will push myself when I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So you got to really have a conversation with yourself. Even though you say you don't know where it's coming from,
It's like
you just don't have enough.
emotionally, it's like it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Physically, just pushing myself to stay fit.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, just putting back in crypto. Spiritually, I'm doing what I genuinely am happy to do.
Mm-hmm. But the outcome is still boring.
It's just boring. Well, it's boring because I know what I'm doing to build the things that I want to do, and then it's like when I come home, I would get reminded of what I'm doing everything for,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like, okay, once I reach this certain amount of money, then I can be done driving, and then it's like, okay, then I have more time, but it's like, even along with that motivation, it's not enough
Not enough what?
push to be excited. So it's just like living is a day by day. So it's like I don't really have nothing to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I get excited for moments of what events might come up,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it's just like, okay, it's an event. I'm gonna be present and be in the moment. No expectations. I guess I really don't have no expectations anymore.
Why do you come to that? There's something you looked at or
Oh.
analyzed or you seen something?
I wouldn't say I seen something, but it's just like, I guess it's just understanding that I'm really just at peace, and I guess since I've never been at peace,
It's
I
it's
guess
a weird
it's
feeling.
a weird feeling.
I wonder how that feels.
It's just like I'm comfortable with the steps that what comes my way and what doesn't comes my
Mhm.
way.
And that's great. I wish I had that peace. You know, your granny is in the hospital again. So I always talked about, part of the way I raised you is based on how I was raised in my relationship with her. And so she texted me yesterday at 2 and said that her port wasn't working. She'll let me know. So I'm just thinking, okay, she's going to that place that she goes to, and come to find out she was admitted. So it wasn't the port, which the old me will be pissed, because she's lying. Here she go lying again about, her health. And then, so, Amar called me last night, and I was sleeping. I was like, I hadn't heard from him, because I just started talking to her on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, because all that Conway crap. And so, I don't want to be in that circle. Keep going around in that circle with her. And so, fast forward, I text her when I called TT and she hadn't talked to her. And then she called me and she was like moaning and like, she in so much pain. She's all hurting all of her body. And I was like, well, where's your nurse? And she was like, she just left, gave me some pain medicine. I said, well, Mama, have the nurse call me, Take in mind I'm at work. When she get in, they don't do that. And I said, oh, okay, well, don't worry about it. I'll call, a few minutes and call the nurse. And she was like, you're not, so wait a minute. You mean to tell me you're not going to come? All the moaning stopped when she realized that I didn't say, well, I'll be up there. I said, okay, I'll call the nurse. So you mean to tell me you're not coming up here to see what's going on? I said, no, I am not. I said, for what? When the last time you was in the hospital, you were, I told you, when you get out, Mama, you're going to be on dialysis. You need to see how this going to do your body. You need to stop smoking, stop seeing kids. And what did you do? I said, so why should I even come up there? Self-inflicted. Batinka. She hung up, and I was like, I called Joe. And I was about to lose it. And having that mate to calm me down, and it's like, for what? You said what you had to say. You doing what you say you were gonna do, and that's it. She can't do nothing to you. And I said, and it just really hurts because she says that, and it almost put like a guilt trip where I got to be there. And then I had to think about it. I am not a doctor. What can I do? I'm leaving a job that I get paid for what I do. I don't get a check like they do. So I had to realize that and not feel so bad about not putting her before my feelings. And so that's why I asked, what does peace feel like? Because and in that moment, that was peaceful for me because I did not do what I normally do. Say one thing and then turn around and I'll be up there. And so that's something that she's going to have to deal with. And hopefully this will show her that the saying a hard head makes a soft behind. And I can't be her safety net anymore. And I always do, because every time she needs something, she calls. But then when she okay, I don't hear from her. So that's why I'm glad that whichever way that you're feeling, I'm happy to see that. Regardless if it's, even when you say you're bored and stuff, you have a wide open choice of your life to do where you don't have to worry about me. So it'll be different if I was like that. If I was still going on with that cycle, I will be, making you feel some type of way where you had to do for me every time you came home.
Yeah, then I would definitely be moving out because it would be a source of entitlement where I would just like, hey, this is what it is. I don't like the entitlement. I understand I am coming home to do this, but I also have this.
You have your own life.
Yeah.
And respect that.
I understand that I am living underneath your roof, but in order to do the things that I gotta do, I gotta move out.
Right. Well, you said it so much better than I did when I moved out. But yeah, pretty much. And that's what I don't like, because she still pulls the I'm your mother thing. And you're right. So be the mama. Be the mother. Be the mother instead of being the child.
Yeah.
You know.
I think, I don't know. I think I just stopped expecting a lot of things. And once I hear someone think with entitlement, with positions and roles, I automatically tune them out. And it's like, okay, it's really not my problem anymore because you're depending on me without really depending on me. And it's basically, it's like, I understand this is the role I play in your life,
Mm-hmm.
but how much do you appreciate the role that I play?
Right.
And I think when I look at the appreciation, that's what makes me not want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where a lot of things where I stop doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess it's just from a level of, okay, I know it's not being appreciated here. So it's just one of those things that's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things where I just hear the entitlement comes in, where it just makes me don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it don't even become a thought because it's really not my end. It's really something within that's you have,
Right.
but you projecting on me where I know I don't have no control.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that, again, like I said, I had to learn that. I mean, I seen it when I started saying no, with my family, because I was always giving, giving, giving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking about, well, do they come around and call because of what I can give them, or do they do it because they love me? So when the no started coming, then I was like, oh, so that's what it was about what can I do for them. But I could never call you or them, as family wise, not you, but family, and get the same in return.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Well, I needed to focus on this, and that. You know what I'm saying? So my things were lined up for you, making sure this, that, and the other. So I was adamant about just giving you things that I didn't have at a certain time.
Yeah.
But because I raised you so differently, you wasn't that kid that were like, I got to have this car at 16. Or, but that was my goal for you. But every time I couldn't do it because I was still helping someone that was entitled and thought I was supposed to give them all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just something I had to, and the smartest thing and the most, the most important thing that I heard that Joe told me was, you said what you had to say, so why are you still stressing about it?
Yeah, see, I don't dwell on things.
But I'm a woman. That's part of the emotion thing. And I said, you're right. I said, because it makes sense. He said, just listen to your husband. And I said, well, what is it? Tell me what I need to do. I said, because I go so far, and my heart is so big and open that I do anything. But then when you do something, then it turns so cold, then I'm pushing away and I'm done. And so when I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then the other people on the outside looking in, like the people were probably hearing this, will be like, dog, she did this to her mom at her lowest point. Isn't she on dialysis? Is she? But this is self-inflicted stuff. If this is a thing, this is like it's kind of like when you get rich. No one sees the work behind what you put in for of it. The only thing that they see now, and they recognize that, oh, that's Chase Jones. He's the most, you know what I'm saying, influential, all of this, whatever. And that's all they see.
Yeah.
But they don't see the struggle. They don't see, the pain and the crying and all that you endured to get to where you are. Or to feel how you feel about a certain person. And I used to think about that. seeing homeless people and people in wheelchairs and things like that. But you don't know. Well, you know, little Bob over there used to be, run. He was the fastest runner and stuff, and now in a wheelchair because he's self-inflicted pain on himself, and now you want someone to take care of you.
Yeah.
Or you had a bad attitude, whatever the case may be. So I have to realize that, the situation, sometimes when you look at things and they look worse than what it is, you got to think about what made them get there.
Yeah.
And why are they there? And why they don't have nobody coming to see them. The nursing home, a lot of people talk about that, like when they worked in the nursing home, and some people didn't have family that come see them. And that's what I told, I was talking to Joe's stepmom. I came over and I told her, I said, well, sometimes either the person didn't have kids and they in there because they didn't want them for whatever reason, or they were so probably mean to their family that they didn't burn all their bridges. So you got to look at it. Yeah, it just be so sad though. But if we could go back and jump into people's lives to see how they were,
yeah,
then a lot of people will understand, and I think that's part of the world too. The not knowing where someone has been and gone through, and then just prejudge them on the basis of their skin color and stuff. But I'm thankful that you can have all these type of things and understand and know, regardless of, because I say it all the time, regardless, you feel a certain way, you're honest, and that's how I raised you, and it is what it is. You can't get mad about someone's feelings and how they feel about a situation.
Yeah.
Because, I remember the first time you told me about not doing nothing for holidays and stuff. I was like, what? You can't be doing that. You remember my reaction? And then I was like, when I was explaining it to Sean and stuff, he's like, what? I said, but you know what? I can't get mad at him. I'd be only mad at myself. Because I taught him to, be open and stuff. Matter of fact, I pushed him into reading. I said, so he never read. But for some reason, sometime or somewhere in between, he got into where he started reading more. And when he started reading more, stuff got real to him. And then the way he thinks, he put it together, and then he just formed all of his opinions, so I can't get mad. Man, people. So, I just remember feeling that way where, gosh, Lord, what is my child? He's got to be chased. But you can't get mad at how people feel. So.
And I think a lot of things where I just leave it in God's hands and I just leave it alone.
And that's what I told Aunt Womaline today. And she said, Tinka, it is, you leave it with God and stuff, but sometimes you just, in order to do the right thing, it just takes, the rough steps to take it. I said, and I get what you're saying. I said, but here's the thing, Aunt Womaline. That's not my battle. And so it's God's battle. So whatever happens, it's going to happen. I said, because I can sit on this phone with you for days and weeks and months to tell you the things that I have endured with her. And it's not to a payback or anything like that. I said, so don't get me wrong. I said, I just know that I have exhausted all ways and thoughts and anything to, to help her. I said, it is up to her to get herself better. Her the doctors like 4 or 5 years ago, um, telling her what she needed to do because your kidneys is not, they're showing some signs and this and that, and her telling them telling her that she needed to lose weight, stop smoking, and eat right. And if not, you're gonna be on dialysis. And I remember telling her, Mama, you're gonna be on dialysis. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. I said, okay. And here we are, fast forward, and that's what she's on. So.
Yeah, I think as much as I understand being compassionate, I understand being considerate, but I would rather look at things more realistically than put myself in a spinning cycle where I'm not really staying true to my spirit and staying
emotional, yes, cycle. Yep, and I think that's what I did in that relationship because it was a generational thing from how my granny treated her, and then she's, reflecting it back on me because some of the things when we talking, she was like, this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, Mom, you do the same thing to me.
Yeah, I think from that era of being on survival, I don't think they really had a chance to look at the other option of no or doing something different.
Right, they didn't. And it was about learning something too. Your educational level where my granny didn't graduate, and then she wanted her kids to, and then my mom, it was just a choice of what we wanted.
I also to the level of how far along that you think about or learn about the other things. I think that's what being open-minded comes about, to a certain degree of how much are you willing to push your knowledge or someone else thinking outside of your own and thinking in third person or thinking in second person and not only thinking in first person. I think those allow your brain to think and be inspired or change your beliefs or change your perception on how to go about things. And I think since it was more so do what I say type of way, it was just been passed down of.
And that's the thing. The do what I say is the biggest thing. And that's what that generation and before, if you're not doing what they say, then you're going to hell. Yeah, you being disrespectful and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm not 10, 12, 5 or anything anymore. I am a grown woman. So okay, you're gonna be mad today and I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I definitely have today, like I said, was the first day that I felt so much better about telling her and then talking to my husband before, because any other time, by now I'll be gone.
Yeah.
I know you done seen it plenty of times. I don't even know if you remember times when we'll just be over at Mark's house. You know what I'm saying? Stuff going on. Y'all will probably just be in TV or whatever, but sometimes we was there at night to where we'll come home and just take a bath and go to bed. Because you've been 8 down at Mark's house, but being there because I felt like I had to do for her.
Yeah.
Instead of going home and us, relaxing or me just winding down.
Yeah.
Even before I started back in school, I was always at a Mark's house when I got off from work. So it was like instilled in a guilt trip that I wasn't even aware of at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That that had instilled in me until I bought my house and started saying no. And when I did that, it was like, oh my God, you so mean. And I'm like, no, this house costs more and I need my money, I can't come to y'all for anything, so it's just me, So anyway, well, of course Sean, but I didn't have that mother to say, hey, I'm short on this, can you help me? It was the other way around.
Yeah.
So I've always been that provider to her and stuff, and I think that's why she feels the way she does, because I was always there.
Yeah.
And then we grew up with each other. So she's 15 years older than I am, and that's it. And so, but I had to stop it. But anyway, on to something else. I was just looking at your dresser here. Boy, that's old.
What? Yeah.
I got that mug when you were about 6. So to have a piece of furniture that's almost 20 years old, now you see how it is. Like back in the day when we were going to IU and stuff, yeah, we had these beds and so we would go. We're like, God, no. And then now I'm looking at this. God, no.
Yeah, I think that green cabinet when you first walk in, that's been there for a while.
Well, okay. Yeah. But,
Oh, okay. I thought about this. I think only you will know. Like, I remember some phrases.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember all phrases.
Okay.
What is a phrase that you remember from Miss CJ?
Oh, my God. I just said one today, and I'm going to tell you what I said. Mark came in and said, hey, D, how you doing? You been doing? I said, I'm better than amazing. And he said, that's good. He said, how's my... No, and then, what did he say? And I said, it's better to be seen than viewed. He said, oh, yeah, I just caught that. Yeah, you sure right about that one. And he asked, how were you? And I told him, you were good, you'll be in today. And then that was that. So I always use that phrase. It's better to be seen than viewed. And of course, when I thought, that's the first thing I thought of when I viewed her in the casket. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you always said this, and now I'm viewing you. But anyway, I'm not going to break down, so I'm going to move on. The next one is spit fire and save the matches. She used to say that all the time. Oh God, what else? Trying to think of some more stuff. What did you remember her saying?
Don't forget your rain boots.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she used to say, come here, let me pull your coattail. So they're just saying, let me tell you something that, I need you to be aware of and think about. I remember the first time she told me that. She said, come here, let me pull your coattail. It was something that Chris them in financial aid had told her to watch us or whatever. So anyway, she was like, let me tell you what's going on. So, what is something else she said? It's so many phrases she done said. Oh, see you in the AM. I say that every evening. I always use that phrase. I see you in the AM. Gosh, what else? It was so much. I have to think. But those are the ones that I can think of right now. But yeah, she had a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it's like, based off of how I felt, I was like, I know there's a phrase for this, but I just don't know what it is.
I'm gonna think on that. And if Ebony, if you're watching, I'm pretty sure you have something. I'm gonna have to give her a call and text her. Watch our podcast about this, and we definitely brought up Miss CJ. So, it's another one that I don't want to say. I say that all the time too. I just thought about that one. Play and get.
Yeah.
That one. Oh, definitely, yeah. So I use that one a lot too. Yeah, that's about it right now. But yeah, we're gonna keep it.
I know it's a phrase, but I don't know if she have said it, but I know to her it's a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I know she has something for it.
Oh yeah.
But that's what made me think about it. It's like, I think I want to go in today's podcast with topics because I'm aware of this feeling, but I just don't know how to get over the feeling. Because I guess, like, it's February.
No, it's March.
It's March. And by it being March, I know what every week looks like now. All the way up until the end of May. But after May, I don't know what it look like, and it doesn't bother me. I'm open to see what that will look like. But so far, I know what every day consists of. I know what my schedule would be. I know the things what I have to do. I know the things that's necessary to do. And it's just like it became so robotic to the point where it's like, I won't say it's not fun. It's interesting, but it's neutral. And it's like more my nonchalant ways is coming out on this, because it's just like, it's cool, but it's just like, okay. But it's just, I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you, it's growth. It's maturity. And it's a change of what you want to see. Because I can remember at that age.
This is about to be my next question, so you got to answer.
Yes. So at 25,
no, my question was going to be, how did you feel once you knew you outgrew your old goals?
Well, at 25, I had a new goal.
Okay.
So, 25, the year that you was going to go into school, and I knew that I wanted to buy a house. I said this before on here. So, my whole thing was the same as exactly what you're talking about. I knew the steps that I needed to do in order to get that big goal on purchasing a house. So my first thing was fun got to go. I wasn't going to have fun anymore. And when I mean, what I mean by that is, I knew I wasn't clubbing anymore.
Okay.
I was getting out the club because now I'm 25. Now I have a son that recognizes, hey, where you going? You know, when you start being more aware of your surroundings and what you were doing. You know, what was going on. So, I couldn't have you looking at me as being that type of mom. It's different when you can go out every now and then, go with your girlfriends and have a drink. But what I was doing, clubbing, yeah, it was time to get out of that scenery. And so, every day was, and I guess it was, again, and I tell you about that, it was more different for me because I had somebody looking up to me.
Yeah.
And so, for that reason, my strive and stuff and goal was more focused on, I got to do this for Chase.
Yeah.
And so you were my motivation, but I still knew the steps that I had to do to get it.
Yeah.
So even if you want to look at it as you being your own motivation to be self-sufficient, in order to know that this is how you want your next chapter of your life to look,
Yeah.
you know what you need to do to get there.
I think also with that, since I'm not attaching it to a physical thing,
That's
That's
what
where
makes it boring.
that's what's
Yes.
probably making it boring. Because I'm really never been a materialistic person, so if it comes, it comes.
Right.
So it's not that. And then within, it's like I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I dislike. I know what I'm cool with never experiencing. I ain't gonna say I haven't experienced, but I know where I'm at today. I can't experience the things that I want to do because there are certain things I gotta do now to enjoy what I want to enjoy later.
Mhm.
So I'm okay with that.
But at one point you got to
So I guess it's like since I'm not like even with shoes, I don't have I don't have an urgency to keep up. I can still watch and keep up what's in the loop, but I don't have no urgency of buying,
Mhm.
flipping, turning around and holding conversation or networking to that degree. On
Right.
that,
On
scale.
that, on that topic or
anything that's associated
with that. Yeah.
It's like
It's kind of like, that's why I would say this. It's kind of like giving your child so much at a younger age that when they get older, they don't appreciate nothing because it's boring now.
yeah,
And so you have to allow anybody or your kids to find it on their own terms. So with what you're going through is maturity.
yeah
Is
'cause
what I analyze.
Yeah,
It's your maturity.
It's like all that I really enjoy doing is learning crypto, learning that, trying to be fundamental sound in that, working out, eating better,
And having peace.
basically just having like that's basically it. Like
Yeah.
it's not attached to anything. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna work hard to get this. It's like even with
Or
my end goal.
I'm gonna change for her or him. You know,
Yeah,
it's all about self-care
yeah.
and
it's like-
self-awareness. That's it. And that's okay. And that's growth.
yeah, it's like I'm okay with it. It's
Yeah,
like
that is
it's just-
growth.
I
It
guess it's
ain't.
just a
It's
weird
not.
feeling.
It's a weird feeling. Yeah, because now you're feeling to be grown, and now, you can't even think about your 15-year-old Chase or 10-year-old Chase as much as you like. Dang. Unless something happen and it triggers your mind and be like, hey, like you'll call and say, you know what's so funny? Gosh, it feel like this was ages ago. But do you remember when such and such? Because now that part is kind of fading because you're so focused on the future Chase versus the younger Chase. So the grown Chase is coming into play, and that is life. And I remember when you were 21 and you know what I'm saying, and you was like, I still, you know what's so funny, I can still remember this. Yeah, keep living.
Yeah,
Like
but
the old folks say, keep living.
Like I still remember those moments.
Yeah.
Like I remember
Yeah.
I guess the most memorable moments,
Yeah. The most
but I can't remember the mindset.
because you didn't have a mindset.
Yeah.
You had everything that you done.
The only thing that I know has been there has been my nonchalant ways and understanding that if someone is occupied Go back to your own zone. If they're available, have a blast.
Mhm. Yeah. And you're nonchalant. When you always talk about it, and you were like, no, and I was like, Lord, I done messed up because I didn't think you had that until we talked about it for the very first time. And I was like, did your daddy point that out to you? But it's something that you learned because you were learning who you were and learning your ways on certain things and what people were doing. So you be like, I don't care. And I was talking to my one of my coworkers, and he came in. Matter of fact, he came and he was like, "How do you deal with, just in general, how do you deal with like difficult people and stuff?" And I was like, if it's one thing that my job has taught me, it's taught me to control my tongue and to document stuff. So God allows me to speak at the right time where I need to so I can voice. I said now back then it was more of loose lips sinks the ships. That's another saying of Missy J. But my tongue was just so loose. So I have learned how to control that, and that came with growth.
Yeah.
That came with me also losing. I have more to lose today than I did 20 years ago. So I understand that to some degree, not the whole thing, but to some degree, why the older generation stayed on their job. But it was still like out. You didn't have to be there. It's other jobs besides where you at.
I guess that's also another thing. It's like, even there, it's like being there, it's like, I don't necessarily have to be here. Like, I did think about going back to Chicago. Like, I couldn't go back, but it's just like, now, the journey that I'm on now, I can't go back. So it's just one of those things. It's like, well, if I get tired with this, I know something else will be available. But it's just like, do I really want to go with that process again? No. So I know the final step in driving is being done.
Because now
like the crazy part that, okay, so this is about to be a financial thing. So basically, you know how you are taught to just save, correct? So just imagine, it's called staking. So just imagine on your crypto.com wallet, right? You can stake whatever coin that you want to stake in, and you get a certain percentage back yearly. Depending on what you want to stake, let's just say you can stake it for 3 months, 6 months, or 30 days. But say if you come into some money for, let's just say 1,000, 500 for staking, 500 for present. With that 500, it would give you opportunity of more money in the future without you even have to do nothing, rather than you saving it and adding on to that. But you'll be going to bed while money will be
working for you.
So with that concept, little by little, what I've been doing is like, okay, I know I can't unstake it until 30 days. So if I ever need the money, it's not like I'm going to get it immediately.
Right.
So it's like, I can't look at it like that. So now, as I do this process, it's just been a process of, I know I'm always going to be good. Based on the cycle period of when I can get the funds.
Right.
So with that concept, it has been more of security, of that's taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like an urgency of, oh, when I get this amount of money, I can do this. That is
Not you anymore.
It's not me anymore.
Right, right.
So it's like, that's also a funny feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I think about, oh, I do want to do this, but it's like, I got that in closet. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And once I do that, it's like, okay, oh well.
Yeah.
I think that has been the funniest part about all of this, of just bringing that to Arkansas, doing those things. It's like, I know it can still be done, but it's like, I'm not as passionate about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Your passion has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, your focus has changed. So all of that. And that's good. I mean, that, again, I'm going to say it again, it's growth.
Yeah.
It is growth. So,
like, oftentimes when I take a shower and I look at my chest tattoo, I just reevaluate, like...
that's what that says, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, as parents, and I say this story all the time to Joe about how the days I didn't cook, and I'd be like, hey, what y'all want to eat? And you'd be like, Sonic. So I'm going to tell you how your mindset was. You didn't understand the value of what things cost.
Mm-hmm.
You just knew what you liked.
Yeah.
And Sonic was one of those things that you liked. And me was they're too high.
Yeah.
And so it forced you to go other restaurants and look at the dollar menu.
And I was like, the funny part was like, my last semester of college,
Mm-hmm.
since I was on a budget, my meal was a chicken tender sandwich, a grilled cheese, and a ice.
Mm-hmm. Blue Oak. I mean, what was that?
The drink is blue.
Was it
Ocean
blue?
water.
Ocean water, yeah.
But I guess from just working there for a little bit, I understood the dollar menu more.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like going with kids meals. Like, now that I've been practicing fasting, I enjoy a kid meal regular than a regular meal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I be satisfied on the kid meal now instead of, oh, you're a grown man, eat like a man. And it's just like,
right.
That just don't
make sense.
Make sense to me.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
I take half of my burgers, like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about, since I've been eating right and stuff, on Joe's birthday last week, we went to Senor Coyote.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the last time I had your little meal thing, which was fajita meat and the chicken. So I was okay, but I wasn't on that thing. But this time I got a beef quesadilla. I said, I want to just switch it up. You know, I'm trying to open up. Well, that night I was sick. I threw up like a dog. Well, because I hadn't been eating beef.
You haven't ate red meat.
No red meat. And then I'm like, the one thing that I know that I am more aware of when we do go out is to make sure I order the healthy things on there. And it is opening me up because my body is really rejecting like everything that I normally would eat.
Like, you definitely have to substitute the red meat for white meat.
Yeah, I cannot, you know, because I'm eating turkey and chicken and fish. That's all. And then I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, ugh. The other stuff, it just, yeah, it made me real sick. And I was like, and the funny thing about it, first page threw up, and I was like, what's wrong with her? Then I was like, oh, feel like I got to, it felt like I had heartburns, and which I did, and then I was like, oh gosh, it put me in the mind when I was pregnant, and yeah, I was like, oh, I'm trying to go to sleep, Lord. Yeah.
I don't think we made it to 3 clips before.
Me either. I was just about to say that. But yeah, that was that, and I was like, so, we ate somewhere else and I got sick. Oh, well, I didn't, because I did, Sunday on Super Bowl, I did the cheese dip stuff, but I had my turkey meat on the side. I didn't even put it inside the cheese dip. So no, I was not sick, and he ate wings or whatever. So I ate a little bit, and then Monday was Valentine's Day. Now where did we go? Because wherever we went, I got sick after that.
I think for Valentine's Day we went to Hibachi, but I still wasn't feeling a bit. But Monday was the day I realized. I don't even think it was the mixing the wine and alcohol.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
I think it was the it's either something that I ate prior to that.
Because I was talking to you about that
it was
as
just
well.
like, I don't think it was that, because I have done that before,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't that. As I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't know what caused that, but my stomach just didn't like whatever I did prior to that. And I got like my body just felt, my stomach just got, it just felt so acidic, that's the word. It got so acidic where it was just hurting. I really just wanted to throw up, but I couldn't. It was just
that's
like,
how I felt.
I was like, what's going on? But then when I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and just try some Tums. Went to Dollar General, ate the tablets. 10 minutes.
I think
I was
you might have had
great.
I think that was heartburns when it's like that.
It
feels so
like,
feels
it's like when I lay it hurts, and I was like, okay, I can't do that.
Yes.
So instead of sleeping in bed with Alona, I was just going to a couch because I knew I was going to be moving. But once I laid a certain position with my head tilted a certain way, I slept amazing. Then when I woke up, it came back, and I was like, what is going on? But I was like, you know what, I'm going to just drink this ginger ale, burp as much as I can. And that was helping, but it wasn't really. But
you had heartburns.
The moment I ate them Tums.
It doesn't take Tums. Yes.
About less than 10 minutes.
That is exactly the same
good
way when I first had heartburns pregnant with you at 4.5. I didn't know what it was. My body never felt that. And my mama said, that's heartburns. I said, oh my God. And so from that point on, I was like, this baby better have a lot of hair, boy. Oh my God, I got heartburns. Seemed like every night.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't like this. I was just, rubbing my, oh God, that was the worst
and when I say
feeling.
When I say after taking them, I was like, this was the solution all along.
It was heartburn.
And when I say we came back, I took a nap, I was like, yeah, I feel good. But I lost so much sleep. I was tired. I took a nap, and I was able to go to bed early that night.
That was new. That was a new thing of your body. And that's the learning process and the growth process in yourself. It's like no one can tell you, hey man, when this happened, this heartburn. No one can tell you that. You have to experience that for yourself to be able to understand the next time it happened.
Oh yeah.
Because that is so distinct.
I have
that. Oh my gosh, you know.
I thought I grabbed it, but I left it with her. But I also grabbed me another one. I just took it just in case while I was on the road. But
so whatever you ate,
I don't know what.
Whatever that was you ate, that you know, if you eat it again or something, or whatever was in there, either it was the veggies or the meat, something gave you heartburns on that meal.
I can't even remember what it was. That's the crazy part. Like I can't even backtrack it.
And I can't remember where you told me because I remember us talking about it. But that's another that old age forgetting. You forget. Your dad used to tell me, you forgot about that. You told me. Yeah. But guys, this was been. I hope y'all understand. You know, lives are complicated, but I'm gonna tell you one thing about it. No matter what you go through, how you go through it, as long as you, I like to have a lesson at the end because this has been a long one. As long as you understand who you are, you can get your point across without feeling stressed or guilty, and just enjoy life. Enjoy life for you and for the ones that you know that really enjoy you back and love you back, and don't feel entitled, you know, and don't use that. So that was a really, really important, and I thank you for sharing it with us, Chase. And because that made me just think, you know, of just of, you know, how I will approach you with anything, because, you know, that's one thing that I value is our relationship and our communication, you know. So you, when it comes to being nonchalant, you definitely got me, you know. So I am the same way on things like that to other people, and then I'm just now learning how to be more that way towards those two ladies that I love dearly, you know, my mom and my granny. So I have to tell them how I feel, and just say, hey, it is what it is. This is me. So, but yeah, I just want you guys to, out there that having those difficult conversations and all that stuff, we got to go. It looks like the battery is finna go dead on us. So, next month we will see you guys. And hey, happy Women's Day month. This is Women's Month, and we're gonna be doing an event. So April the 3rd, I think, is on a Sunday at the lot. I think it's at 1 o'clock. So I try to, once we get those flyers and stuff, I'll post that. So I think I'm going to be talking about some bookkeeping tips and financial stuff. So, hey, if y'all in the Little Rock area next month, we'll love to have you. I think tickets may going to be $6. So more to come about that, though.
All right.
All right, guys.
Next month.
See you next month. Peace.